having those repetitions, those meetings to sharpen my EQ, my ability to communicate, my understanding of our customers and our product and our messaging, I think has been extremely valuable in terms of leading. And then taking some of that, sharpening of my sword to how I approach CEO duties and leadership as a manager has paid more dividends than anything that I've done in terms of training myself for getting to a place where you've got, a multi-million-dollar company and you're leading a staff of, say, 40 employees.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow? The strategy to drive your business forward is so important to your success. The strategy is all of the big concepts of you moving forward, your business model, your marketing approach, the sales approach, how you operate and position yourself in the market. All of those are very strategic initiatives. But you know what else is important to become a fast growth company? It's the mindset of a leader. The mindset of a leader is really different than those that are the mindset of managing others. And the mindset of a leader is what we talk about today with Sam Frank. He is the partner inside of 412 Roofing. They were number 122 on the Inc. list. We talk about the mindset of a leader. He talks about leading by example and what that really means. He talks about some of the specific frameworks he uses inside of his company to, provide connection across the company, not just at the executive level, but across the company. Every employee is doing these three things and answering these three questions specifically that I will share with you inside today's conversation about the mindset of a leader. When you think about your own growth as a leader, you have to work on how you think about yourself, the beliefs that you have around leadership, the beliefs that you have around others, how much you trust yourself. All of that comes back to mindset. So today, we're going to talk about something really near and dear to me, is the mindset of a leader. You may not know much about my personal story, but the very short version of it is I ran a fast growth company and I wasn't prepared to be a leader. Being honest with you, I had hired out a bunch of people to help me scale the business forward, and we were working really hard, and I was working harder than everybody. And I felt more like a firefighter than a CEO. One of the big mindset shifts I made was getting out of that firefighter mode and becoming the CEO of a company and truly becoming a leader, not just someone who solved the problems of others. Now, a lot of people get this confused, and I share this story with you in a micro version because I want you to understand I've lived this myself. I've continued to live this and upgraded my own life to become a stronger leader through my mindset. And if you want to continue to evolve or you want to really push yourself, then make sure you reach out to me. I've got some content on site of genehammett.com that will really help you become a stronger leader. If you want to have a conversation, that's the best way I know for you to really take your own leadership to the next level. Just go to genehammett.com and go to start your journey. Now, here's the interview with Sam. Hey, Sam, how are you?
Hey, Gene. Thanks for having me on your show. Really appreciate it.
Well, excited to have you on the podcast, Grow Think Tank, to talk about leadership and culture that drives fast growth companies. And I've already let our audience know a little bit about you and what we talk about today, but I'd love for you to tell us about 412 Roofing. What are you guys up to there?
So I think one of the reasons we're on this show is because we made the Inc. 5000 list for the fastest 5,000 private growing companies in the country. We ranked number 122 on the Inc. 5000 list. That we are a roofing contractor company. There were a number of roofing contractors on the Inc. 5000 list. We were the highest ranked roofing contractor on the list. So technically, what I've been telling folks is we are the fastest growing roofing company in America. And we are based out of Baltimore City, and specifically the city. I live in the city. My business partner lives in the city. And a lot of what has fueled the growth of our business, I would say, is a renaissance of people moving back into Baltimore City, investing in residential construction, like townhomes. This is a city of townhomes. and particularly looking for a contractor that provides a very high level of quality and service when it comes to exterior construction projects, specifically roofing and deck projects in Baltimore City.
So you have about 40 employees, Sam, is that right?
Yes.
When you think about your leadership, and I know we're going to talk about mindset today, I think a lot of leaders think that they have a pretty solid mindset. Was there a time when you can think back in your journey as a leader where you weren't focused on mindset, you were just focused on the other stuff that typically takes up our mind space?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a natural progression as you start a business, especially if you're in a leadership role within the business. I mean, I think that so basically our journey over the last couple of years, we basically went from zero to $2 million in our first full year of doing roofing projects, which was about 3 or 4 years ago. And essentially, to get from zero to that number. We need to set up the marketing to get the phones to ring. Then we need to start, getting out there and doing sales. And then we need to start just kind of fielding as the business grew, putting the pieces into place so that we could grow. A lot of that is building out the model, the operations of the business and focusing on that. But as we've grown, we've hired more staff. We're starting to get to a level where we've got departments and people that run departments. And there's a great book called Scale about growing a business, and it talks about different tiers of businesses as you grow. And one of the things that I've held on to is, hey, as you grow and you get to this level where kind of we're at now, where you're starting to get departments with different people and specialized functions, is that you should be starting to look for lieutenants within your, or VPs, probably more commonly in business, of different departments that can be people that have had longevity, loyalty, they've proven that they're a good worker and that they can be a steward of these different functions of the business for you as an owner. And then starting to manage those people and their departments as opposed to doing all of those things and kind of everyone bailing water out of the boat, when you first start.
Well, that's what typically happens inside of scaling companies. But there gets a point where there's a little bit of a breakdown. I don't know if you had a specific moment you can look back to, but where you didn't have the right mindset to continue to grow the company. Is there a moment that you can think of that you'd share with us?
Uh, I think that it's all happened so quickly. So we've kind of just taken it in stride. I mean, now this year is going to be our fourth full year doing roofing, and we're projecting to do between 5 and 10 million in revenue.
Okay.
The last couple of years we did about 2, 3, 4. So this year we're really hoping to make a big leap. One mindset of growth going into this year is we had some marketing vendors and kind of campaigns that have worked really well for us, and our KPIs on those campaigns have shown us that we've got some really good like cost per lead acquisition doing those. And basically I decided, hey, I want to grow out of this smaller area where we are and become a big company so that we have people in departments with functions and can be more organized. And an example of a big leap is we increased the marketing budget substantially for things and doing campaigns that might not necessarily have as good of, KPIs, but we recognize that we want to be a bigger brand to get to that level. And that was a mindset of growth where I was like, hey, I know this has been working for us, but I know that this is what we need to do to get to this next level.
Now, you talked a little bit about you have a year-end experience that you do for yourself, but also your employees, where you're looking and reflecting on what has happened. Tell us a little bit about that reflection.
Yeah, so we do a cool thing. We do monthly meetings for the company. We call it our all hands on meeting on the last Thursday of every month. And the last 2 years, at the end of the year, we've done basically we call it a time capsule. And we have 3 questions for people. We say, hey, what are your goals for yourself professionally? What are your goals for yourself personally? And then what are your goals for the company in the coming year? And we basically have people answer those, and then we put them in the time capsule to read next year to see, how we did. And I was just telling Gene that basically I realized that my goal for myself personally was the same last year as well as this year. And I didn't even look at my time capsule until after I had written my one for this year. But essentially my personal goal for myself is that I want to be present as often as I can throughout my life. And I think that that's one of the things I talked to you about as well before we started chatting, is that, enjoying the process of building this business, enjoying the journey is something that I don't want to be so bogged in the work and the stress of making sure the financials work and the sales and managing people, that I can't be in the moment to experience the journey and be a part of this.
I know there's benefits for me when I'm present, but I'm kind of curious, what are the benefits for you when you're present with your team in the way you want to be?
I think that it creates a softer side of myself as a manager. I can think about, my employees, not just in terms of their function as staff members, but hey, what makes this person successful in terms of how I nurture them as a person, how I lead them as a person. I think that also there's so many fun things about growing this. You hear all these like rappers, when they talk about rapping, the glory days are when you're a nobody and you're coming up and you got that chip on your shoulder, and then eventually you become someone. But I think appreciate, even if you're not making money as an entrepreneur starting a business, you got to hope that, if you're doing this, that the ROI of building your business is going to be substantial enough for you to want to pursue this journey. And I think that in any person that grows a successful business, you look back on those early days and really have a lot of appreciation. So I just want to be in the moment for this journey, like for instance, we moved into this amazing facility where we bought some real estate and have converted it into this state of the art roofing business shop. And being there to put like the bulletin board in the lobby and putting interactive fun things on the bulletin board to interact with staff, being available, not just booking myself for sales call after sales call and operational meeting after operational meeting, but actually having some downtime at the office to chat with people about what they're working on, to bond with staff, and being available as a boss. And I think those things about the process, those are really a treat that you get to experience as someone building a business. And I want to be there for those moments.
I appreciate you sharing all this with us, Sam. I want to go deeper into this whole issue of mindset, because I think a lot of leaders think they have a strong, evolved mindset. But the reality I've seen is there's always another level. And let's just look at maybe confidence. Have you reached a point where you realize, okay, there's even more confidence beyond where you are today to take the business to a new level?
Yeah. So I think about this. I listened to a podcast with Will Smith on the podcast. And basically, Will Smith is talking about how when he first got into acting, you might not necessarily believe that you can become a character or own it and be the it man in Hollywood. And basically one of the things that he talks about is he got to a point where there was nothing that was going to whittle down his confidence, that there was no wall that he could not break down in terms of taking on a role, new assignment, new movie. And one of the things he talks about as like a contributing factor to doing that is proving it to yourself over a long period of time through all the things that you accomplish. And I think that you bust down one wall, you bust down the next wall, you figure out how to get through this accomplishment, this hurdle. And then once you have, enough notches on your belt, you really recognize that, hey, with hard work and your, the right approach, that you've had these successes, and, this is going to be part of your model now, is to have these wins, have these successes, and break down these barriers that are in the way of you continuing to progress upward.
Now, hold on for a second. Sam just said you've got to believe in yourself. Now, at some level, you already believe in yourself. You've been successful. You've taken your business to the next level. But here's the question I want you to really think about. What would it be like if you truly believed in yourself that you could overcome anything in front of you? Well, you would become unshakable. But I find a lot of leaders get to a point where they either get complacent with who they are, they start to play not to lose instead of playing to win, and they don't have the confidence that you would say is unshakable. They're overthinking things. They're letting other stuff get in the way of them being the strongest leader they could be for their team. I put a spotlight on that today because I really want you to think about your own confidence level and believing in yourself to the highest degree. I've done some of the inner work on this with my coaches. I'd love to help you, really take your confidence and believing in yourself to the next level. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me, genehammett.com. When you think about your own leadership, I really want you to think about how do you become unshakable and the impact that would make. Now back to Sam. How does that make you a better leader when you understand that confidence that you have and all these little walls you break down, you can actually convey that to those VPs that you talked about, right? The leaders inside your company.
Well, I think different people lead in different ways. There's a lot of ways to lead. You can lead more silently, more vocally, more through doing. And I think that one of the things I've realized is the more that I lean into owning the idea that my actions and my words impact the outlook of the people on our team at our company, and the importance of shaping those to be positive and contributory, the more I realize that it truly does impact what we're doing, what I'm doing. And I think one of the things that's been another resolution for me recently is to lead by example. So, if I'm asking people to do certain things, I've realized that it's a lot more effective. Or this is the wise part of myself that I'm trying to lure out. Maybe I admittedly don't do this enough, and I need to do it more. But leading by example, I think, is a great way to show people as a leader how you want them to behave.
Now, Sam just said something really incredibly smart. You've got to lead by example. When you lead by example, you truly are showing up in a way that you want others to show up as. When you are overthinking, when you have doubt, when you're not quite sure of yourself and your ability to rally through any challenge in front of you, you are actually giving others an example of leadership that has doubt, that has really chinks in the armor, if you will. I want you to really think about, are you leading by example to the fullest extent? Are you truly connected to your own values? Are you truly connected to exactly what it makes you who you are and how that authentic leadership is what your team needs the most? Maybe you're not being transparent enough, maybe because you're holding back. Maybe it's because you're not really working on the communication and being present enough. All of those things matter. Leading by example is one of the most critical things that you can do as a leader. And most people don't understand how to do that. I put a spotlight on it here for you because I really want you to understand that when you lead by example, you have the biggest opportunity to impact everyone around you, not just in your work, not just in your home life, everyone. Leading by example rocks you at your core and provides a foundation for who you are. When you think about that, you want to always lead by example and take it to the next level in every interaction you have with others. Now back to Sam. How has having a strong mindset allowed you to be the person that you want to be, whether this is personally or professionally, having that mindset that really drives you forward?
So we talked about, the analogy I was talking about Will Smith getting reps
Yep.
in terms of practicing and breaking these hurdles, these brick walls that are in front of you. I think related to mindset. Wait, hold on. I'm losing my train of thought. Gene, could you repeat the question one more time?
How has strengthening your mindset improved your life, whether it be personally or professionally?
Yes.
Just continuing to work on the mindset to be the person that you want to be.
Well, I think one of the things for our business, I'm really big in sales. So I think that in certain businesses, the CEO or the leader of the business should be the top salesperson, training people on the sales process, and should be heavily focused on sales. One of the things I love about sales, and particularly our business, we do a lot of sales, is that it's given me lots of reps to practice my ability to communicate and verbalize and behave around people and figure out the messaging of what I'm trying to communicate to customers and to staff about like our identity. And I think that one of the things I've realized is the more I thought when we got to a certain scale that I would pull out of sales. And what I've realized is that I need to be involved in sales all the time. I don't need to be, as we grow, I think I'll probably not be involved in as many smaller sales or as many like consultation appointments. Maybe it'll be a different form of that. But essentially, having those repetitions, those meetings to sharpen my EQ, my ability to communicate, my understanding of our customers and our product and our messaging, I think has been extremely valuable in terms of leading. And then taking some of that, sharpening of my sword to how I approach CEO duties and leadership as a manager has paid more dividends than anything that I've done in terms of training myself for getting to a place where you've got, a multi-million-dollar company and you're leading a staff of say 40 employees.
Most people listen to this interview on their phones. Maybe you're listening in your car, maybe it's at the gym, maybe you're on a walk. But when you listen on your phone, you can probably get just exactly what you need. But did you know we have a YouTube channel? We have some content over there that you won't find anywhere else, and you'll see the visual aspects of it. It will really help you become a stronger leader, more effective. Make sure you go to genehammett.com/YouTube, and you can subscribe and become a better leader immediately. Well, I can tell you what's on your horizon if you want me to kind of give you a peek into that. You're interested?
Yeah.
So you have a sales natural ability, and I think you're absolutely right. You need to hold on to that as long as you can until the point where it's really time to let go and empower everyone else in the company to do it without you. Because there will be a time when you guys are maybe at 40 million that you won't be involved as you are today. But you'll still be there, and they'll still respect you for what you've done and what you've created and and you may still go on the occasional sales call, but you'll be so pulled into so many other things that you'll eventually let go of that. Does that scare you?
Well, I already feel it happening because I think this year
Yeah.
we're making a big push to grow top line. It's one of our major objectives this year is to take probably the biggest leap in top line that we've ever taken as a business. And, we're talking about resetting over the weekend and getting off from the wrong foot, coming into Monday morning. I think one of the things that's going on with my schedule right now is between sales calls and all of the other things that I'm doing as one of the owners of this business. I need more time to be able to do things that the business needs that might be outside of running individual sales call appointments.
Yeah.
So already, we're making a push to hire more sales staff and to figure out how to make the business financially viable if myself as the owner, if I pull out of sales. And I think that definitely, that's the dream of entrepreneurship. If you can have a business that can be sufficient with the owner pulling out more and more. And so definitely that's a goal that we have. I just think that it's something that's going to take, years to do if we want to do it truly greatly.
Well, I agree with you, but it will happen if you put your attention to it. And really, here's what the team wants as well, because I talk to a lot of founders just like you through my work and through these interviews, is they want to be empowered. They want to do it themselves. They appreciate your help. They want to do that, but they don't necessarily need it when you get to them to a certain point. And so your job is to get them to believe in themselves, just like Will Smith has allowed you to believe in yourself. And when they believe in themselves, they'll sell maybe even better than you. That would be awesome, wouldn't
it? Yeah. And I totally agree with you, Gene. I think that through different business books that I've read and my vision of the entrepreneurial journey that I want to have, I think of like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is one of the most famous, personal financial books ever in terms of like mindset of how you want to start a business and how you can succeed in business. And basically other people's time, other people's money is one of the main principles. So, hey, how can you take stuff off of your plate, have it be managed by people that are hired to do those jobs? And then how can you leverage, financing, say from a bank in order to grow your business to the next level? And I think for certainly, but, as we're thinking about our business, the absolute dream would be that we've got loyal, very talented people that are departmental heads. And I tell people that like our staff, the people that I'm looking for are people that are going to take care of this company like it's their baby in the same way that the owners take care of it. We're looking for that agency to see who holds this with the tenderness and care that we do as owners. And once we build that over time, trust, like working relationships that develop over a long period of time, that's kind of the staff that we're looking to put into place to hopefully take on more responsibility so that we can continue to scale and be less involved in certain day-to-day operations.
Sam, thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing your dream as well, because I think a lot of people listening in today have the same dream. They want people to feel like owners inside the organization. So it starts with your own mindset. I appreciate you sharing all your insights.
Absolutely. Gene, anytime we can be interviewed or be on someone's podcast or be featured, obviously, over the moon, excited to do so. So thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
Perfect. I want to wrap up here a little bit while Sam's still listening in. What we talked about today is about mindset, but it's more than just about what you're thinking and what you believe. It's about how you're showing up for your people. If you're not showing up fully present and fully aware of who they are and what they can do and contribute, how they want to contribute, then you are missing an opportunity. And I think that anyone who wants to evolve as a leader has to look at their mindset in a very different way from what got them to where they are. But then on top of that, you want to create a culture of ownership. And this is the core of the work I do when I'm speaking with big audiences. I talk about creating that culture where people feel like owners. They're inspired to go beyond responsibility. And so if any of that, kind of interests you, I'd love for you to check out the brand. You can go to genehammett.com. If you want to get a conversation with me about what your next step is and me help you get really clear about how you can evolve your company, just go to genehammett.com. You can Start Your Journey there. I'd love to connect with you. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, make sure you think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.